minutes past noon, and I was chasing a 200-pound steer down the barn aisle. At 3 minutes past the hour, I had my butt planted firmly on the long wooden bench in the tack room and was halfway through my turkey mayo sandwich. My first swig of Dr. Pepper fizzled down my throat, and I closed my eyes, reveling in the cold, wet gulp. The cool air in the tack room reeked of worn leather and dirt. Amidst my gulping, I'm not sure which came first, the frustrated hollers from Maryland or a chocolate-brown blaze of fur and hooves flying past the open door. Either way, I dropped my pop can and scrambled out into the barn aisle, looking from one end to the other. Marilyn stood with her hands on her hips in the barn doorway. Her 5-foot petite frame didn't make much of a silhouette against the sun, but her voice made up for it. She pointed at the steer trotting down the aisle. "Get that little booger," she yelled, and I turned, racing straight for him. Nova rapped her knuckles against the door 3 times and paused, waiting for the sounds of movement in the small, square house. After getting the bejesus scared out of her at the royal reveal, she searched for Reese, but lost track of him in the crowd. Deciding her questions couldn't wait, she navigated her way out of the masses and to Reese's front door. "Come on," Nova muttered under her breath. Just as she raised her arm to knock again, the door cracked open, and 2 tiny eyes peered back at her. Nova's hand paused in midair. "Oh, hi," she said, letting her arm drop to her side. "You must be Reese's little brother. Is Reese home?" Instead of answering, the door clicked shut. Nova stood on the steps, unmoving, with the door shut in her face. Well, that was rude, she thought, as she contemplated knocking again, but heavy footsteps stopped her. The door opened again, much wider this time. "Oh, hey, Nova," Reese greeted, as 3 little ones peered at her from behind his back. "Sorry about that. Jacob knows he's not supposed to open the door to anyone, but I was in the back, chopping wood." "No worries," Nova responded and waved her fingertips at the little boy and 2 blonde girls. They couldn't have been more than a year apart in age. The girls smiled timidly. "I didn't mean to intrude," Nova said. Nova raised her eyebrows. "I just have a few questions for you about the princess." Reese turned toward the kids. "Jacob, Ashley, Elizabeth, can you go gather the wood and start a fire?" The little herd obliged and scampered off. Reese stepped out, closing the door behind him. Nova hooked her thumb on her satchel strap and leaned toward Reese. "So, I wasn't expecting that kind of a reveal. Were you?" Reese wiped his hands on the front of his pants, leaving wooden bits on the warm fabric. "Well, I was expecting a show, but I don't think anyone was expecting the princess to manipulate the sky like that." "So, it was the princess that did that?" Yeah." Reese leaned back against the doorframe. "Did you think that was a coincidence or something? Like lightning just decided to strike after Princess Jade was introduced?" "Well," Nova stared at Reese, "I didn't know what that was. I mean, I've met tribal leaders and witch doctors, but I've never met anyone that could change the weather. With magic?" Nova's voice rose with her question, trying to get further confirmation from Reese. "I mean, does everyone in the castle know how to do that?" Reese scrunched his lips together. "Well, not necessarily. I mean, the queen does, and obviously the princess is growing into her magic faster than anyone thought. The Larkspurs have access to spells and potions, recipes, passed through generations, but only the women of the Larkspur blood possess natural magic. Like what you saw today. At least, that's what I've learned from years of royal history in school." "So, both the princess and the queen have these powers?" "Yeah, their ancestors did too. They were born with them, and their magic gets stronger with age. But the catch is only one Larkspur can contain the full range of magic at any given time. As Princess Jade grows into her powers, the queen's magic will weaken." Then the princess will take over the throne. That's why her demonstration today with the thunder and lightning was so surprising. I don't think anyone expected her to be so powerful just yet. At barely 16, she'll be leading the kingdom sooner than anyone expected. Crazy, Nova whispered, half to herself, half for Reins to hear. Welcome to Sterling, Nova, he chuckled, but it wasn't a happy laugh. Sorry, maybe I should have brought you up to speed before the royal reveal. That would have been nice. Nova cocked her head at him, raising an eyebrow. I only have 1,000 questions now. How much time do you have? Reese's eyes shifted to the closed door. I'd love to chat, but I've got to get dinner on the table. Both of my parents work at the castle. Dad works nights as a guard. He's sleeping right now, and Mom works in the royal kitchen. She doesn't get home until late. And those 3 little monsters get pretty feisty if they don't get dinner on time. Oh, okay. I understand, Nova said, feeling silly for demanding answers about magic when Reins had real stuff to do. Meet me here tomorrow morning. I'm sure I can give you a history lesson or 2 on our walk to school. I'll give you a crash course on the larkspurs. Nova gave a quick smile. That'd be great. Then she turned and started walking. I'll meet you here, and I'm coming with a list of questions. I'll be ready for them. Reins waved goodbye as Nova crossed the road to her house, her sandy waves bouncing against her back.